Hi there, this is Tammy with Tammy's Stampin' Therapy. Today I'm coming on with card number 4 for my April card class, and this one is using the something friends. Where is the stamp case? This is using the Special Someone, nothing friends, Special Someone stamp set. Isn't this a cute set? It has matching dies. And then the paper that I'm using, this paper is out of the Bonanza Buddies designer paper. I just thought it went very well with this. This is Bermuda Bay cardstock, and then this matches it very nicely. I have used Whisper White, and this I even did the inside. So let me show you how to make this card. I'm going to start with showing you how to make the little animals. I've already made them for this card, but I'm going to show you what I did. I used my Stamparatus. Stampin' Up! Has their own stamp positioning tool that's called a Stamparatus, and it looks like this. It comes with a foam pad if you're using clear stamps, which I am using photopolymer stamps. If you're using red rubber stamps, you would take this out. And then this is magnetic. And then you can get these sheets to put on there. These magnets you need to be careful with. If they clank together very hard, which this one just didn't clank hard, which was nice. But if they clank together very hard, they can break. So I put duct tape on them to give me something to hang on to. And then it comes with 2 separate plates. And the nice thing about this is you can put plates on this side and you can put plates on this side. So you can do a lot of stuff with these plates. You can buy extra plates. I have 2 Stamparatuses and sometimes I have 3 or 4 plates going. I'm going to start with the little raccoon. And I have this piece of cardstock here. It doesn't matter what size the cardstock is. When I made this before, I lined it up like this. And I'm using my Memento black ink. I'm going to put this on here. Move this card out of the way so you can kind of see the whole thing I got going here. So I'm going to ink up my little raccoon with the black ink. And then I'm going to stamp him. And the nice thing about this is, because of the way it does the stamp placement, if for some reason he wasn't stamped well, I could ink it and stamp him again. He's stamped very nicely for me, so I don't need to ink him and stamp him again. Now I'm going to turn this plate around because on the other side I have the solid image that goes with it. And I'm going to use gray granite to stamp the solid image. And the way that I placed it, let me show you how I placed it. I stamped the outline first, and then I come over here and place this down in the way that I think is correct. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go pick it up with my plate. So I picked it up with my plate. Now I will ink it up gently so that I don't get ink in places I don't want it, like all over this plate. And I'm going to stamp this. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of shadow, but that's okay. And then I will clean that one off. And then I'm going to move this. I think I put it like right here. For my next placement, I'll put my magnet on each side. The next one I'm going to do is this cute little mouse. So again, I'm going to ink him. He's already on here. I'm going to ink him with the black Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Stamp him. Stamped pretty darn good. And then I'm going to flip this plate around. And I'm going to ink him up with Smoky Slate. He's a little harder to not get ink on the plate, but the ink on the plate isn't going to get anywhere else, so it's okay. And I will do him. Very nice. Now I'm going to remove this plate. I could have gone ahead and put my squirrel on here too, but I didn't. He's on a separate plate. So he's right there in the middle. I'm going to move this out of the way. Ink up my, or stamp up my little squirrel. So you know that Stampin' Up! Has a Stampin' Chamois that's made for cleaning stamps, right? And I love my Stampin' Chamois, and I keep it in a stamp case in my drawer with my blocks. I think I've mentioned at some point in the past that we have, our whole city has a really bad ant problem. Sometimes they go for food, and sometimes they go for water. And I got out, I've had my Stampin' Chamois for at least a year, maybe longer. I went to get it out the other day. I opened the case and it was full of ants, which was very annoying. So I can't put it back in that drawer that way. I put it away. I got to figure out a different place to keep it. So for now I'm using this rag. And it was an ant-tastrophe. There were ants everywhere. There's a bunch of dead ants now, which made me feel bad because they're hard little workers, but I did not want them in my drawer. The last color I'm using is Sahara Sand. And these are 3 totally different colors, but you'll see on here when I show you in a second, they don't look like 3 different colors. So I'll stamp this guy. Clean this off. The Stamparatus has a fun case to go with it too. So here you can see I stamped these with 3 totally different colors. They look these 2, especially the Sahara Sand and the gray granite, look almost exactly alike. And the Smoky Slate is definitely a little lighter. So the next thing I did was I took a marker, and it doesn't give any shading or definition. If you're coloring like with your Stampin' Blends, you're going to get shading and definition. So I just took a marker. This one is Early Espresso, and I just went and added a little bit. Just little dots and dashes here and there. So I used Early Espresso for that one. This one is Soft Suede. I'm going to use it on the squirrel. And it's just going to add a little bit of dimension to the coloring. And then, sorry, bumped something, everything. I've got things stacked precariously around me. I really need to clean up my mess, but I wanted to get all these videos done first. So once I get done shooting my videos today, I can clean up my mess. So I added a little more dimension. And I've already done these. You can see, makes them look a little better when you add something with a marker. And then I die cut them with the matching dies. I'm not going to do that on these because, excuse me, because I've already done all of that. So now I will show you how I did the card. Let's see, get this out of the way. Put this card back. I'm going to start with my layers first. These 2 pieces, I need to add some color. Use my Granny Apple Green and a piece of paper underneath so I don't get it on my mat. And I'm using my Granny Apple Green sponge dauber, and I'm just going to add some color on the bottom. Just like that. Don't need much because you're barely going to see it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on here. That's it. Pretty simple. That's probably the easiest sponging I've ever done. So then I'll add this to this. Put it on the inside of my card. I would normally use Whisper White Thick for my card base, but I accidentally ordered, I mentioned before, accidentally ordered 2 of the regular and only 1 of the thick, and I'm out of the thick. But the way I layer up my cards, I've used white card bases way before Stampin' Up! Had the thick white cardstock, because my cards are always layered up, and it really makes the card stronger. So it doesn't really matter. But the Whisper White Thick works really nice for die cut. So all of my little pieces that I've put on here, they've all been stamped and die cut on the thick. Especially if you're going to be popping them up. If I'm laying them flat, like this piece I'm laying flat, it doesn't really matter. But the ones when you're popping them up, you want them to be thick so they'll do what you want them to do. Now I'm going to put this on here with dimensionals. If I can find my dimensionals. Here's a sheet. Brand new sheet. I'm going to put this right side up, right in the middle. And then I'm going to start adding to this. I need some mini dimensionals also, probably. I'm going to first add my raccoon. He's on the bottom. Put him right there. And then I'm going to add my little mouse. And I went a little tricky with this. Not sure if I'm really happy with it, but this is what I did. So, because I wanted it to be way dimensional. So what I'm going to do here is put 2. I'm going to stack up 2. I'm only putting 1 up by his head, but you'll see in a second why I'm putting 2. Put 2 at the bottom because his head is going to be over the raccoon, so his head only needs 1, but his body is not going to be over the raccoon, so his body needs 2. And that makes the whole thing a little more dimensional. It's making this card way dimensional, actually. And then my squirrel, I'm going to put, let's see where I need to place them. Maybe right here. Is that the right placement? Yeah. So the squirrel, I'm only going to put them in this one spot, so I'm going to stack them both up. So this is going to go like this. Put him down a little bit. There. And now I have these parts I want to add. These dies all come with this die set. So this is really nice. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Little bit of glue right there. And I want this to go this way. It needs to look, or I want it to look like the raccoon is holding it. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put this tiny little bow on top of it. a little dot of glue for this tiny little bow. These die cuts are so cool. This die set is very nice because, like the little bow, there's 2 dies. Both balloon shapes, there's 2 dies. The little flowers, there's 2 dies. So it makes it really nice and easy. You can cut multiples at once. Now I'm going to do my balloons. So I want 1, 2, 3 balloons, and they are going to, let's see, I'm going to put the yellow one down first. Well, it's not yellow, it's Mango Melody. And it needs 3 pieces because we want it to be, there's 1 piece under here and there's 1 piece under here, so we want it to be 3 high. And I want to use like a little straight strip instead of these tiny little things, so I'm going to do this instead. So I'll start with 1 across there. I'm going to put 1 on top of it. And 1 more on top of that. They're not stacked up very well, but it's going to hold fine. And then I'm going to put this, I'm going to trim this. I didn't die cut this very well. I was a little bit off in my die cutting. There, you can't even tell. So I'm going to put this down first, and I'm putting it on top of where that string is. So this is 3 layers of the dimensional. And then I'm going to do the same thing under this. This one is stamped with Coastal Cabana ink. Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay go very nicely together. It's like Coastal Cabana is just a lighter shade of the Bermuda Bay. And this one I'm going to kind of slide under the yellow one, but still on top of there. And I want it to go, hopefully my head's not in the camera. I want it to go there. And then my last one is Granny Apple Green. Those are way not stacked straight. Everything is much easier to do when you're not on camera. Everything. So those are way crooked, but that's okay. And then this one I'm going to put here. Well, I'm going to put it so it actually is on that string. I'm going to try to put it so it's actually on that string. This is crappy. I'm going to have to start over. Actually, I'm going to do, gotta be real, right? So this one, I'm just going to do 2. And I'm going to put it in a different spot. I'm putting it, I'm putting it right here, and so it's going on top of this white piece. There. There's that. And then I have this cute little bubble cut out that I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday on. Could be a little higher, but or I mean a little lower, but that's okay. And I'm going to put this on here. Put these 2 kind of side by side because the edge of it's going to hang off. There. Last thing these guys need is their little flower. And this I'm just adding some glue on the stem. and giving this flower to the little mouse. I'm going to also make the balloons a little more sparkly, and I should have done this before I added them down, because now it's kind of hard to get to them. So I'm gonna put this here. So this is Wink of Stella. I'm adding sparkle to my balloons. So there's the front of my card. And then on the inside, yikes, get away from that stamp. On the inside, I'm gonna layer up the same stuff, kinda. But I'm not making it dimensional at all. So I'm just gonna start stacking these guys. With the raccoon in the middle. Put this squirrely guy off to the side. Where's my little mouse? Here's my little mouse. And then this time I'm going to send the balloon strings the other direction. As you can see, the balloons are going the other way. Again, so it looks like it's in the hands of the raccoon. Add my little bow. And let's see, I have another flower. This time the squirrel gets the flower. And then I have my 3 balloons again. So I'll start with the Coastal Cabana. I'll lay it down right here. I'll put the Mango Melody on top. And then I'll finish off with my Granny Apple Green. There. So that's the end of that card. This is my birthday card using the Special Someone stamp set. Let me know what you think, and all of the supplies I used will be listed in the description box below. Thank you for watching.